Go to the White House now, where President Biden announced his plan to withdraw all U.S. troops from Afghanistan by September 11th, ending America's longest war.
We delivered justice to bin Laden a decade ago, and we've stayed in Afghanistan for a decade since. Since then, our reasons for remaining in Afghanistan have become increasingly unclear. I've concluded that it's time to end America's longest war. It's time for American troops to come home.
And we have just learned that Secretary of State Blinken has just landed in Afghanistan. Chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega, our Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz join us now. And Cecilia, let me begin with you. We know that President Biden has been wanting to get out of Afghanistan for at least 10 years, but he and his team also know that this move comes with significant risk.
Significant risks, George, and these risks are being laid out even by members of his own administration. The intel community is out with a new report right now that basically says the Afghan government will struggle to hold the Taliban at bay if troops are withdrawn. And the CIA director testified on Capitol Hill, essentially saying that while al-Qaeda doesn't have the ability, the capacity to attack the U.S. homeland, that pulling troops back from the country could lead to a resurgence of terrorism in the region. And of course, we've been talking about this pushback there from Republicans, particularly on Capitol Hill, who say that this could potentially erase decades of gains in the region. The White House says that the president asked for a non-sugar-coated assessment of the situation on the ground, and that is how he came to this decision. He said yesterday in that speech right there at the White House, that the risks in Afghanistan are not what they were 20 years ago, that the U.S. accomplished what it set out to do there, which was to take down bin Laden and basically stop the country from being a safe haven for terrorists. But his big point, George, he said he did not want to have another American president have to keep troops on the ground there in Afghanistan. And
Martha, one of the big questions on the table, if that threat does develop again from the Taliban, how does the president respond?
Well, right now, the Taliban holds about half of Afghanistan, George. They're currently negotiating a peace agreement with the Afghan government, but saying there is mistrust of the Taliban is an understatement. Numerous retired generals are weighing in that the gains that have been made could be lost, but President Biden made clear his concern is the threat to the homeland and believes that threat is very low. But you heard what Cecilia said about intelligence gathering, and those concerns are real. If you don't have troops on the ground, it limits our ability to gather intelligence. The best example of that is Iraq. In 2011, President Obama pulled out all U.S. troops, and a little more than 2 years later, ISIS began taking over the country, and American forces were sent back to Iraq. And of course, George, when you think about Afghanistan these past few years, you think of the opportunities that women and girls were afforded when the Taliban was forced out of power. There are fears that, too, will be in jeopardy, even though President Biden says the U.S. will stay involved there, just not militarily, apparently, no matter what happens there.
And perhaps that's why we see the Secretary of State there this morning. Meantime, Cecilia Vega, the White House prepared to announce new sanctions against Russia today.
Yeah, a senior administration official, George, is telling me that that could happen as soon as today. This, of course, is in response to that massive SolarWinds hack last year, where administration officials believe that Russia was trying to gain access to government secrets. The president told you Russia would pay a price for that, George. We are hearing from Russia right now. They are saying that these sanctions would be illegal, and they are promising a response in kind.
Cecilia Vega, Martha Raddatz, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.